Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
All right, what's happening in the market? Let's look at the price of Bitcoin, altcoins, and generally what's happening in the space. As you see, we yesterday were talking about these triangles, and basically we are moving within the big one. We were a little bit we were playing a little bit with the support line over here. We bounced off of that perfectly, so we touched that already 1, 2, 3, 4 times. It's a very nice indicator that we finally will break. It's probably down, and I mean this triangle probably will be broken down. Also, we're playing with this line as well, but I wouldn't really consider this as something substantial, but really temporal. And again, I'm still standing on the position that we are having this triangle after the drop, so it is more likely to be broken down unless the market will have the big volume on the false breakout, and it will not play against the herd when we will go upwards after that. But still, I would expect more likely the price to go even lower without $3,000, because a lot of stops over there, and it will be huge liquidity there, and we can finally make this V-shape reversal. But maybe not even 3,000, but something much lower. I don't exclude that. I must say that currently in the market there's like a huge uncertainty, and sort of people are worrying that you see the volume of the major altcoins is very low. Like, for example, you can see Stellar $73 million. It's really small, it's really thin market. Cardano 22, IOTA 9, and even those like Maker, you see it's number 20 on CoinMarketCap. It's only 400, a little bit above $400,000. Which means that it's really easy to manipulate first. And the second thing is that if you're a huge player, huge investor, trader, you cannot, on this thin market, you cannot fill your positions, both longs and shorts. You cannot open it fast, you cannot close it fast. And people are like worrying that, probably huge players are left the market, were leaving the market for a while, long time ago. And now we basically are open for small players, small investors, for which are more prone to manipulation, and in general this sort of abandoned place and so on. But I wouldn't be 100% agree with that. First, the thin market means it's easy to manipulate, and huge players will easily dump it as low as possible. Second, on the other hand, it may be the opposite way, and the market will be able to go up from that point when the interest attention from the capital is very low, so there's no need to go down. But positions already, like those positions which were already accumulated during those bear period which we have now, is worth to close at the new rise cycle. So in any case, we will go down with a higher liquidity and then go up from that point, or we'll go up from now. So I don't think that, because the opposite scenario would mean that Bitcoin will go to zero, which completely that doesn't make sense at all, because you know how much of the capital from huge investors already in this space, not mentioning all other factors which we covered before in the previous episodes. So I would be more optimistic than most of the traders right here, because you see the market usually goes against the majority of the players, and this is the time when most of people are super bearish, ultimately bearish, and they say that it will go down to zero, whatever. I don't think so. Of course, not financial advice. Don't treat it as such. It's my personal opinion, and so on. What I was going to show you today as well is some news about the huge moves of the coins. For example, this 66,000 Bitcoin was moved from one huge address to and distributed among 100 other addresses. And actually this was only for a little bit less than $4 and was made very fast. So this is the power of blockchain to transact huge amounts of money. But the idea is that if this is the sign of next move coming, and on the one hand it could be such, and it's like the some of those coins could be used to dump the price or sold, which artificially will dump the price, or it means that those people are just increasing their safety for storing Bitcoin, because they're distributing different addresses, and also like hiding their activity because of that, thanks to that. But in both cases it would mean that we either in front of the dump or we're in front of the pump, because in the first case it means that we will those people will dump the price using these coins. In the second case it would mean that those people will actually not sell it and store it for a long period of time, which apparently would mean that the price will be left to the free ride, and usually it goes up in this way without the manipulation. And you can also look at the whale alert. This is the Twitter account which gives you the notification about the huge moves of the coins, Bitcoin or other coins as well, and you can see how whales are acting on the market. It's very interesting to observe this. Like this is stellar, like 7.6 million stellars were moved just recently, and so on. What I was going to show you as well is that for example, this move which we looked at right now, the address, this one, which had the 66 million Bitcoins moved to another addresses. You can actually look at this transaction, see all the details. But it's interesting that before that it had a lot of the small deposits from different addresses, and those had very weird numbers, like 777 satoshis, 555, 888, 666. What is that? It might be just the check of the blockchain of that your wallet is active, that you have an access and everything. And second thing is that there is sort of a conspiracy theory that whales are trying to make a coordinated moves by sort of communicate with each other by such small transactions, and give like a signals to each other that okay, we're about to dump the price, or we're about to go up, and so on, like pop and down groups, you know. But it's interesting to also mention that you can store some info in the blockchain. So when you make a transaction, a lot of data is stored in the blockchain, and you can sort of encode some additional data in this transaction by, well, you need to be a miner for that. There are a few ways to do that, but generally let's look how you can decode this. So let's imagine you're a whale and you indeed have the signal from another whale. So this is the transaction, some random transaction which we should look at. So it has a line which written as included in blocks, and there's a number of blocks. So if you click here, you will see the hash, and then you would need to copy this hash number and include it into the block explorer raw block. And then you would have this raw data. It's a lot of the numbers and letters. So if you will copy this data, and we'll just copy just a little bit because it's too big, but just copy this, and if you'll translate it to convert it from the hex encoding to This is just, you see just the numbers, letters converted from hex to ASCII. You will have ASCII code, a lot of the like characters and unclear, with unclear meaning, but then somewhere you would have relatively reasonable writing, BW support 8M phishing jinxing BW pool, which is probably associated with the mining pool and some transactions within the mining process. And in principle, this is the way you can have some meaningful information in your Bitcoin transaction. So some people argue that those transactions somehow haven't encoded messages to the other people who are receiving them, and maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I don't think so, but because I don't see the reason why they cannot use just encrypted email or something like that. But who knows, maybe. But anyway, it's interesting to see such features of the Bitcoin blockchain behavior, activity, right? And finally, speaking about these moves of Bitcoin, it's not only that Bitcoin has this weird activity in terms of the accumulation of the coins and the like monopolization of the capital for biggest addresses. There is the research from DR who are stating that whales accumulate Ethereum as well. And it seems like it happened just during the whole drop from already $800 down to this $100 level, and it seems like they are about to have the most of the Ethereum eventually. And with proof of stake, it's actually really huge thing. But the thing is that the more huge accounts accumulate some coin, the more likely this coin would be having bigger value eventually, because there's no need to huge investors to lose their money, right? So if they accumulate, it means probably that they do it because of the important reason, and this is profitable in future. So maybe it's time to buy some Ethereum, guys. I don't know, not a financial advice as usual. The same thing happens with even Litecoin. There is a news that 60% of Litecoin entire market cap moved just in a single day. Some people said it's backed and Fidelity are behind that. We don't know. The idea is that, again, the same thing as with Bitcoin in Ethereum, that huge players are accumulating the coins, and probably they're trying to keep the small retailers behind and have the most of the funds eventually for future to sell them on profit, on huge liquidity when the market will be in a positive hype and so on. So concluding all of that, currently we're in a very pessimistic, depressing state, but I would encourage you to continue to hope to hold your Bitcoin if you didn't sell so far. It's up to you. You may sell and buy, try to buy lower, as we just expect this to happen. It's very likely to happen, but again, it's really risky, so it's up to you to take this risk or not. But you see, a lot of the small things, a lot of the pieces of the puzzles are out there, and I'm staying positive. I don't think that there is any chance to this to die anytime soon. So it must have a big, bright future within 10 years. I don't know, 5, 10, 20 years. Anyway, hope it was useful, informative. If it was, please leave a like, subscribe, and leave your comment. I hope to see you tomorrow in the next update. As usual, safe trading, guys. Goodbye.